Earlier in our correspondence, Ezio sent me a message, I think it went out to the whole of our group, asking each of us to relate a magic moment that might weave together people in place to form a community. As an academic engaging with the idea of sustainability, I'm actually more interested in the natural than in the supernatural. But as a politically engaged artist, I'm fascinated by the hidden and unconscious forces that shape everyday life and social events. In his book Capitalist Realism, Is There No Alternative?, Mark Fisher explores how ideology constrains thought and action by limiting our conception of what is real and what is possible. Maybe the system is simply telling us what we want to hear, that we can save while we spend, we can consume and conserve, we can reconcile economy with ecology. But perhaps by amplifying the conflicting impulses that are part of our psychological condition, capitalism also holds us spellbound. In February 2013, our Vice-Chancellor, Nigel Carrington, signed the People and Planet Green Education Pledge, committing UAL to a clear position of engagement with sustainability. I wrote to him to say that this was a bold and admirable move, but I said that we would need to act fast if we were going to keep up with the students who were showing amazing leadership. I gave lectures throughout that and the following year, proposing that UAL should divest from fossil fuels and reinvest in renewable energy that is decentralised, diversified and democratically controlled. I pointed out that University of the Arts London banks with the Royal Bank of Scotland. During the times of easy credit, RBS made so many reckless loans that in 2008 it had to be bailed out by the UK taxpayer. A Cabinet Office spokesperson said the failure of RBS played an important role in the financial crisis of 2008 to 9, which, together with other macroeconomic factors, triggered the worst recession in the UK since the Second World War. Between 2005 and 2011, RBS financed coal mining and power companies with £9.4 billion. RBS branded itself as the oil and gas bank, but its aggressive investment in fossil fuel has also included extreme projects like mountaintop removal for open-cast coal mines in the Appalachian Mountains. RBS is also heavily invested in extracting shale gas by fracking, and it has put vast sums of money into oil sands extraction in Alberta, Canada, which devastates the landscape and generates up to 4 times more carbon dioxide per unit of energy than conventional drilling. The good news is that RBS has begun to disinvest from fossil fuels, and this appears to be partly a result of the fact that fossil fuels are tanking as an investment class. They can become stranded assets, but it's also interconnected with citizen pressure through organised campaigns. In response to my lectures, a small group of students and staff at UAL launched a campaign for University of the Arts London to divest from fossil fuel. The students started a petition and a Facebook group. I raised the issue with colleagues and lobbied senior management until I was told to stop. I painted banners such as this one you can see in the background. I provided research materials such as you can see on the table. And the students presented this at the UAL Freshers' Fair. This photo shows UAL Divest member Georgia Brown, who had just submitted a Freedom of Information request to find out how much of UAL's money was invested in fossil fuel. She's looking very pleased with herself, having found out. You're going to hear shortly that in July 2015, Critical Practice organised an urban festival at Chelsea College of Arts called Transacting, a Market of Values. It was an exuberant outburst, creatively exploring communities of evaluation. We set up a stall to promote the UAL Divest campaign, and that freed me to try out a light-hearted performance. I've never done performance before. And the idea was to inversely relate to the activism of the UAL Divest group, the social collectivism of transacting, and the idealism of sustainability. So, I hired my graduation robe for the MA at the Royal College of Art, and I had myself transformed into a zombie, in homage to the Occupy movement, with its use of the zombie as the figure of contemporary capitalism. I stumbled around transacting a market of values, recalling the tradition of the robed mystic in the marketplace, dispensing predictions, knowledge or wisdom in return for payment, which is where we're all heading if the university becomes privatised. But I barely spoke, which is unusual for me, and I asked for nothing. I was a caricature of myself as a conflicted academic, warning of ecological catastrophe and the destruction of value through the pursuit of money, implicated in the commodification of my own cognitive and affective labour. The title of this performance, Master of the Universe, refers both to the financiers who triggered the global financial crisis and to the masters of the university, who are pragmatically negotiating austerity under neoliberalism. Acting out my dark fears was a way of letting them go, of breaking the magic spell by reclaiming the alignment of positive and negative forces. I am driven by a sense of foreboding that consumerism is leading to an apocalypse of social fragmentation and ecological destruction. But I'm also drawn to the utopia of cultural transformation and social justice. Resilience, then, is the capacity to withstand, adapt to, and learn from chronic stresses and acute shocks of economic instability, resource shortages, and ecological degradation. All of these are aggravated by neoliberal capitalism. They're not necessarily inherent to the human condition. They're historically specific. At University of the Arts London, the aim of building resilience poses wicked problems. We're implicated in the issues we face. We're not innocent bystanders or impartial observers. Also, we have different and even conflicting interests, depending on whether we're staff or students, management, or whatever role we might have within the university. And finally, the consequences of our decisions could harm others, particularly the people who come after us. And that's why I've been proposing for some time that University of the Arts London should become a social enterprise. The government's pushing us very hard towards becoming a profit-oriented, privately owned corporation, and I think this would be a catastrophic failure if we allowed it to happen. In our pedagogy, our research and our parts of our operations, we already have some of the values, practices and structures to become a cooperative social enterprise. As well as making clear our social and environmental mission, I think we should also discuss the possibility about collective ownership and control. So our university, I think, could become not only a place, but a situation which allows people to share flashes of individual insight, to build and make a community of collective possibility. And that, for me, would be a truly magic encounter. Thanks very much.
Thanks, David.